All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. I see people are trickling in. So I'm going to just wait a minute or two for everybody to get situated. I'm very excited. This is going to be a fun one. Today we are going to be doing a build with me. So this is a new webinar session that we're running. It's going to be 4 sessions every 2 weeks. So week 1, today we're going to be doing optimizing your inbox organization. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be doing week 2 and then onwards from there. So there is a full schedule. I will send a follow-up email with those in case you want to join on the other workflows. But we're going to start with the email organization because everybody has that problem. So do grab a seat. My name is not Gero. It does say that my name is Gero. I don't know how to change that. So we'll get that sorted for next week. My name is actually Helen, but yes, get yourself situated, grab a drink, grab a soda, you get your Levity accounts ready. Don't worry, we'll be taking you through the whole process from signing up. So if you don't have a Levity account, you're in good hands. Cool. We'll give it just 1 more minute for everybody to join. And yes, if you have questions, please put them in the FAQ area. We will have a moment for questions towards the end. But I have some cool stuff for you today. Awesome, awesome. Welcome, welcome. Hey, everybody. We used to do these webinars last year, and I love doing them. They're great fun. So completely live, so who knows what will happen. Hopefully my FedEx man won't ring the doorbell while I'm doing this. Okay, welcome. It looks like we've got most people in by now, so let's go ahead and get started. So welcome to Live with Levity. This is our new webinar series. It's going to be running about 8 weeks. We have 4 sessions. This week, we'll be focusing on inbox organization. And the focus of this webinar is to be live with Levity. So build real time with Levity and kind of learn the basics of the system. It's a 30-minute session. I've allowed 45 in case questions and whatnot, but you'll learn from this session that it's so easy to build within Levity. So that's what I'm hoping to show you today. Okay, so let's get started. Hello, always a good start. This is me. I am Helen. I'm not Gero. If it says that my name's Gero, I just don't know how to change that on Zoom. I'm the customer success lead here at Levity. Been here a couple of years now, and I do everything customer success, customer questions. So if you have any kind of introduction to the Levity system, chances are you'll come across me at some point. So today we're going to be covering a few things. First of all, I'm going to take you through just very briefly what Levity is, a quick kind of elevator pitch on what we do, why you need it, and trust me, you do. I certainly do. We're going to have the build with me session, which is obviously the focus of this webinar. And then finally, stick around till the end. I've got that little hook going to keep you on. We've got an exclusive webinar offer for everybody who watches this webinar. So it is limited to select few, first come, first served. So do stick around for that webinar offer. If you're watching this on replay, try it. Maybe there's still some spots available. But yes, do stick around till the end. Cool. So let's get stuck straight into what Levity is. I'm hoping if you found this webinar, you probably have some idea what AI or automation, but really what is Levity? So let's take a look. In a simple nutshell, Levity turns your emails, tickets, invoices, other stuff into organized data. So let's take a look. Here's your day. You've got email messages, you've got CRM tasks, you've got invoices, coworker messages, customer tickets, files, all this stuff, all this noise going on. And you're manually putting yourself into each of those processes. So Levity is actually something that sits between this noise and makes it organized. So as you can see, your tickets get done, your emails get answered, your invoices get filed away, your messages get summarized, lots and lots of stuff. But Levity sits in that noise and just organizes it. But what does that look like? What does Levity look like? Well, Levity, actually, once you finish setting up, it works in your ecosystem. So we're going to be looking at the setup screen of Levity today and the app. But really what Levity looks like is these screenshots right here. So HubSpot, and these are workflows I actually use. I eat my own dog food. We have the HubSpot, it closes my tickets or it keeps them open depending on what the ticket is. I use it, well, I don't use Outlook. That's more of an example. I use Gmail though, and I do use Levity to as you can see, these are real emails being organized by Levity. And there we can see a Slack screenshot, and it can summarize emails coming in and do various things with that as well. So this is just an idea of what Levity looks like to you in production. Why do you need Levity? Well, I'm sure you probably found why you need Levity because you're here on this webinar, but maybe you're asking why you need Levity. So let's take a look. This is a standard email process for most people, right? You get your email, it normally makes an annoying noise and you are interrupted. And that's an actual screenshot of my facial expression when I get interrupted by something, when I'm deep in the zone. And then you spend some time reading, and then you spend some time researching what they've asked or what they're wanting. And then you spend some time responding for every single email. This is your inbox. This is what it looks like. These tasks eat up your time every day, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds, maybe 10 minutes. But they don't need to. There's some things that require you. You are a valuable human being, but there's some things that, I mean, you could just have AI do it, right? And that's what we do. So how does it work? We've looked at what it looks like. We've looked at why you need it, but we really want to see the kind of bare bones of what's behind the scenes. So we're going to dive in, obviously, in a lot more detail in this build along. But as you can see, this is a screenshot from the Levity system, and it's a workflow. Your email comes in, you classify, and you update your email. This is just one of many workflows. It's an easy setup with just a few clicks. Again, we're going to see this in a moment. Very excited. It reads and sorts text just like a human would. So you read an email and you think, oh, this person's annoyed, I better respond quickly. Or, oh, this person's chill, I can put these at the kind of bottom of my list of things to get to today. That's what Levity does. And it fits right into your existing tools. So as you can see, Gmail, Outlook, Slack, Zendesk, Front, lots of them. YouTube, HubSpot, Google Sheets, Zapier, Make, and this is just the ones that I could fit on the screen. We have API endpoints and we are building integrations all the time. So Levity really can fit into your ecosystem, right? Cool. So that is all I wanted to do in terms of slides, because I know I'm a visual learner. Slides, they're great, but we want to really dive in and build along. So some of you may have an account. I'm seeing some familiar names in the participants here, but some of you may be new to Levity. So I'm going to take a moment to give you a chance to get an account if you don't have one. And it's very simple. You can go to next.levity.ai. So just type that in your URL bar, press the return key, and you should see a screen. If you are on the Levity website, you can just go to levity.ai and I will show you from there how to get into Levity and start with this build along. Okay, cool. So I'm going to minimize the screen share for a moment. Oops, let's close out that. Over to here. All right. And let me just make sure that I am sharing the right screen here because yes, okay, perfect. So let's do that one, share. Perfect. So now we are going to sign up for an account. I know some of you are like, this is easy, Helen, but I like to go straight from the beginning so you can see just how quickly we can get this stuff done. So if you don't have an account, you can still click this login button. You will see when it gets to this screen, we have this sign up link right here. So it's a little hack. We normally like to make you get on a demo just so we can talk to you, find out what your needs are. But if you really want to get in, this is a great way to sign up for an account. So let's go sign up. And yes, I'm going to sign up for a new account. Let's do this email address. Okay, so this is my Gmail. Let's go ahead and sign up. And what will happen when we sign up? It's going to say it sent a magic link. I'm just going to go off the screen real quick and grab that URL to get signed in. Okay, cool. So once you click on that link in your email, it will take you straight in. Simple as that. Wow, you just signed up for an account. So what are we looking at right now? We are logged into the Levity app and we're looking at the setup screen. So as we talked about in those slides earlier, Levity works in your ecosystem. So what it looks like on a day-to-day basis is not this interface. You don't have to spend time every day logging into a new system, remembering your login details. This is just setting it up. It's set and somewhat forget. So I'll explain where we are. We are at the flows page, and this is what we're going to be building today. We are going to be building an email workflow. So At this point, you may have noticed with sign up, you got a welcome email. This is a really cute little Easter egg, but we use Levity for that welcome email. So in my case, I got an email that, let's just go back here. I got an email that welcomed me, and I'm using Gmail, so it was just saying, some use cases, but we use Levity to detect what industry you're in and then personalize that welcome email for you. So it's super cool. There are endless use cases for this software. But let's get started with what we're building today, an email workflow. So quick moment of getting your mind into the scenario that we're building for. This is probably a scenario that you have happening right now. Your emails come in and it's a mix of these notifications, invites, meeting requests, stuff, noise, and you want to know, okay, just what do I need to take action on and what do I not need to take action on? What can be filed away in the later area and what needs to interrupt my task right now and have my human focus? So our workflow, and pardon if you're using Outlook, we do use Outlook, but I'm going to be using Gmail today. I'm going to be building this Gmail classifier that looks at the email and decides if there's an action that needs to be taken or if there's no action that needs to be taken. So let's get stuck in. You will see right here, I've got this template, Gmail, a little icon here, Gmail. And this is what we're using. So let's click start with this template. And the best part about all of this is it's built. I just need to give it the details of my account and what I want to do, and we're good. So we could wrap this up in the next 5 minutes, but I'm going to go into a bit more detail for you. So first of all, let's get our accounts set up, the technical stuff, the authentication. So click on the first little square here. And this is going to be, if you're using Outlook, feel free to use the Outlook template versus this Gmail template. Only difference will be the tool that you connect. But I'm going to use Gmail. So you'll see this little box pops out to the left here. It wants to know which Gmail account we want to connect into Levity. So let's choose. And as you'll see, I'm already logged into a couple of email accounts. I use Gmail for work and I use it for my personal. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my work email. Let's click on that. We are an approved Google app as well. So you'll see this login screen. It'll say, make sure you trust Levity. I do. I've worked here 2 years. Let's allow. And then we'll see this great little green check. That means that we have successfully authenticated our email. All right, and don't worry, we'll be testing this to make sure it works. So we know that that green check is telling us that true. Okay, next step, we're going to go ahead and set up this classifier. This middle section here is what's known as an AI block. So learn that verbiage because that's something that we use a lot here at Levity. If you think of the AI block like the engine of your car, this whole workflow is my car. This is what drives me, but the engine is used to power it. That's where we get the juice to go where we need to go. That's where we kind of rev everything. I don't actually know about cars, but it's a very important part of the process. So let's click into the AI block and let's configure it. So this is the fun part. This is where we say what we want to do with Levity and kind of what you would say to a new member of staff. Like, let's say you were training a member of staff to comb through your emails. This is what you're saying to them. This is what we're on that screen. So let's pick what we want to classify. Well, we want to classify our emails, and we specifically want to look at subject lines, kind of important, and the body of the email. So we're saying feed both these pieces of information into the car engine, the AI block, and that's what we want to consider. Now, what do we want to consider? What are the categories that we want to classify, right? So as we talked about earlier, you're looking at your email and you want to see if there is a task in there, some action that you need to take, or no action. So let's do action. And let's do no action. You can just type it in here and press return. There you go. If you make a spelling mistake, just click on it. You can correct it there. Cool. Label already exists. Very well aware. And if you do want to force it to pick just one category, because you can have a multi-category, maybe it fits into multiple buckets. If you leave this untoggled, it will just pick all that apply. And if you toggle this on, it will just pick one. Cool. Now we could just click away from this and hope that the AI understands what we mean by action, no action. I've tried this before. It works fairly well. If you're aware of large language models of AI, it's trained on a plethora of the human language. So it kind of understands what action means and what no action means. But I always like to just give it a little bit of extra exposition, like you would with a new member of staff. If you say, go file these paperworks, they probably know, but you maybe want to tell them what file cabinets, why they're doing it, just a little bit of background history on the job. Same thing with AI. So let's go ahead, and I have some pre-written text here. I'll give you some time to write yours, but I'll show you what I do. So I normally start with an introduction on the task it's doing. You are classifying my emails and looking for action items or no action items. I probably could have worded that better, but you get the idea. All right, now I am going to grab this pre-written text. You could, again, stop here if that seems like a good enough piece of information, but I normally say something like, decide if the email text contains a task, question, or clear action item for Helen. Only consider emails that seem personal and are asking Helen to complete a task or answer a question, or implied questions such as, I am wondering, because people might say, I'm wondering if Levity can do blank. Well, that's really them asking a question. And then I said versus system emails with notifications or reminders. I do not want it to consider those as actions because pretty much every email has a purpose. So I don't want those. Cool. Now we could click away and start setting up the rest of it, but let's actually do a quick test and see how this works. So I have this pre-written email. I'm just going to paste it in this box. And what's great about Levity and this test area is you could grab, I don't know if I have a good example, but I'm going to grab this email. You could paste an email in with all of this gobbledygook, like all of the HTML and the stuff. And it will know how to kind of focus in on the bits that are important. But I'm going to use this email just because I have it already written. So let's just say that Jordan emails me. I'm going to put a subject line. The subject line is a quick. Hey, Helen, I'm interested to know if there's a possibility to integrate Levity with Google Sheets. I've been looking for ways to automate our data entry and analysis process. Haven't found a solution yet. Cool. So we all know, looking at this email, they are asking a question, and there is technically an action, or at least this is what I would want it to see as an action. Maybe yours is different. Maybe you want it to be tagged as no action. So you would obviously tell the AI block in this scenario, hey, ignore these kind of things. You can give it all those kind of nuances in there, but let's test it and see what happens. This is always the really fun bit for me. Great. So the AI has identified this as an action. Now let's say, ignore any questions about Google Sheets. These should be marked as no action. Cool. Now let's see what happens if we do that. Hey, so as you can see, the instruction box here, it's kind of at your whim, right? You're kind of instructing it. So you can set your rules, you can set your prompts. Prompting is one of my big hobbies here at Levity. So if you ever have questions, if it's not quite doing what you want, do get in touch with me, and I'm always happy to help you prompt. But we're happy with this. This is great. So now I just deleted that. So I want this to be marked as an action. I think this block is working perfectly. Let's go ahead and get the rest of this set up. So you can just click in this gray space over here. You'll see now we've got a green check mark here. And we also have a green check mark here because it's already configured to take that no action or action and create a label in Gmail. But let's just take a look at this step. So here you'll say then in this inbox, which should be technically the same inbox, update that email with the result of our block. All right, that's it. I mean, we are, 19 minutes in with a slideshow included, and we have a functioning block, but it's not quite working just yet because it is disabled. We haven't turned it on. And before we turn it on, as with anything, measure twice, cut once, we want to test it. So let's go ahead and click this test button and see what happens. Oh, I'm so nervous. We've labeled your last email as no action. Let's go ahead and take a look. So there's a button here to open in Gmail. This is going to be my work Gmail. I am an open book. And you will see here the top email is from Gero, my boss, CEO of this company. And he has sent me an email, and there is no action because it's an invitation. Maybe invitation notifications I want to be marked as action because I need to respond and say yes or no. But actually, in this case, it's already going to appear on my calendar. So great, that's a no action. And we've done it. Cool. So we can close that test and we can publish it. And I'm going to go ahead and click publish, and we get the confetti. So that's it. You just built a Levity workflow, right? Feels good, doesn't it? So you could now walk away and let Levity just work through your emails, tag them. This is really useful. But I'm going to go one step further. Now we've graduated from the School of Levity, we're going to go on to our master's degree. So let's get back to flows. You can just click flows on the left-hand side here. And now you will see we have this down here. This is what we just built, our Levity Gmail workflow. Now I want to build one from scratch because I want to get a little bit more clever. So let's click this button up here, this new AI flow. All right. So we're building one from scratch now. Prior to this, we used the template, but you can build them from scratch if you have extra things you want to do. First thing, give it a nice name. So I'm going to call this one exciting flow. Cool. Got a name. Great. And the first thing you'll see is add a trigger. Let's click this. And as you can see, we have a whole bunch of different tools. This is growing every day. We're working on Google Sheets. We're working on an HTTP API endpoint for all you out there using I know the freight logistics industry has a lot of bespoke software with API endpoints, so we can connect with all of those. Let's go ahead and just use Gmail. Cool. So same thing as we were building before. A new email comes in. I've already authenticated my account from that last flow. And then we're going to click this plus, and we're going to add an AI block. Now, this time, we're going to do a classifier. We're going to do action and no action. We're going to say, let's classify the subject and the body of the email. I'm just going to leave this blank for now, because actually, let's use the text we had before. Cool. Wink. Great. We know it works because we tested it earlier. I can click away now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a path. So this is why this is the master's course, because it's a little bit more exciting. Let's say that an email comes in and it has an action, and you want to be notified immediately. So on this top path, I'm going to say, follow this path if the classification result equals, so matches is exactly action. I'm just going to type that in there. Cool. Make sure this is, what's the word? Case sensitive. So I use a capital A, use a capital A. Won't work if you don't do it. And then on this bottom one, follow this path if, again, classification result. But this time we're going to say equals no action. Cool. And now we have basically said, I want different things to happen depending on what the outcome is. So if it's no action, I'm actually not going to put anything here. If you don't put anything at the end of this branch, it will just terminate the workflow. So basically nothing will happen. Great. But maybe actually we want to add action Slack. Oh no, action Gmail. We want to go ahead and label the email as no action, just so that we can look in there and know, right, it just didn't want to tag it. Cool. So let's use the update the email with the classification result. Cool. Oh yeah, we need to say which email account as well. Yeah, great. And now on this one, we want to add the action of pinging us in Slack. So let's choose our account. So I'm just going to quickly authenticate my Slack here. Great. Obviously, it'll take you a little bit longer. And then you can just leave this for now if you have to remember your login and go and do whatever. You can leave this in as a placeholder and kind of get it sorted after this. Or you can go ahead and log in now if you want to. We're going to say channel message text. We want subject and was marked as classification result. Cool. And then we are going to, what do I need to do here? Oh, channel, right. I'm going to use my demo channel because it's the one that I know I can show on screen share. Cool. So we've now built this really cool workflow. every time an email comes in that has an action, it's going to ping me and tell me, hey, there's an action in this email. Obviously, I could spend more time getting that message a little bit more nuanced. Maybe I want to add another block type in there that summarizes the email, generates some stuff. We're going to keep it a little bit more simple than that today. But let's go ahead and test the flow again. All right, so no action. It will have gone down this bottom branch. But let's go ahead and actually send an email. I'm going to go ahead and compose an email over here. I know you can't see my screen, but let's go ahead and send an email to helen@levity.ai. Feel free to test this if you want to send me an email to help. Let's say, I have an urgent question. And then my email is going to say, how do I get this awesome software? I love Levity because I get these emails every day. Okay, cool. So I send that to my Gmail. Let's wait a second for that to appear in my email account. And let me do this again. I know you can't see this on my screen, but feel free to test this on your own screens. Promise you it will work. All right, give it a few seconds. Perfect. I now see that email in my inbox. So let's go ahead and close this out and test this again. Test flow. We've sent the message for you. Okay, so this is exciting. I'm going to go ahead and open my Slack channel. All right, so let's go ahead and open the demo channel here. You'll be able to see all the times I've been testing this workflow. So hopefully you can see my screen here. I have this message, Levity, help. I have an urgent question, was marked as action. Perfect. So we have basically got that workflow working where if it's not an action, it just marks it in my inbox. But if it has an action, it's going to ping me in Slack. It's going to interrupt what I'm doing, which I am not a fan of, but maybe you want to set this so it's only the most crucial tasks and they really are stop everything. You've got to answer this email. All right, perfect. So now all we need to do again is just publish this flow. And there we go, we got the confetti. So you have now built a simple workflow that just tags your emails and a more extreme workflow that will do stuff based on the action, no action stuff. Now, obviously, this is just a simple example, but you can do so much with Levity. For example, I have workflows that will summarize the email, score the value of the proposition. Maybe it's a sales message. It looks at, if it's worth our time. You could have it look at your bug messages and summarize the bug, suggest courses of action, all kinds of things. But hopefully this wets your whistle on the kinds of things you can build in Levity. Now, I just want to quickly touch on one more thing in the interface before we go back to my lovely slideshow. You will have noticed here we have two items on the left panel. We have AI blocks, which I haven't talked a lot about. Now, AI blocks are this thing right here where we built the classifier. We do have the kind of separate section for those in case you want to do things like Zapier and API endpoints. I think this will be going away in the near future because everything will happen on this flows canvas. But if you have an account, feel free to go into the AI blocks and play around in there. But I just wanted to point out that's something that is kind of a bit more advanced. So do get in touch if you have questions about the AI blocks side of things. Otherwise, you can do most of what you're looking to do here in this flows area. Cool. All right. So I'm going to hop back now to my slideshow and go to this what now screen. I'm going to just make sure that I am sharing my screen. Sorry, I am such a noob when it comes to Zoom. I'm a Google Meets kind of gal. Cool. So what now? What do you do next? Obviously, Levity is awesome. You want to use it. Of course you do. I did tell you that we did have an exclusive offer for anybody on this webinar or anyone quick enough in the replay to get there. This is limited to the first 20 signups. But if you do want to go ahead and use Levity, we do have this free plan, which is free, so can't really offer a discount on that. But it is limited by your actions, and an action would be one prediction, one email. So while that is good for testing and playing around, probably you're going to find yourself on this startup plan. So if you use this code webinar50, it will give you 50% off your first month. So do make a note of that. Go ahead and use it if you want to get onto that startup plan. Most people find this is really good for kind of very small use cases. We find that most people end up between these two plans here. And obviously, enterprise, the businesses out there with a bit more kind of advanced needs, bespoke, custom building, that kind of thing, we do have enterprise plans as well. So get in touch for those. Cool. So I am going to open the floor to questions. Now, I know I did get a question already that was about the pricing, so I hope that answers things. But just to recap, if I can go back, I don't know how to do that in here, so hold on. If I go back to this screen here, you'll see we have a number of different plans, and they are based on action usage. You can upgrade at any time. So start on the startup plan if you want, play around, still cheaper than hiring a temp staff to do all this. Jump in, get some workflows live, and then if you do need to upgrade, we'll just prorate the kind of monthly or yearly amount and give you those nice economies of scale with the pricing. And yeah, again, an action is just one prediction, one email, one whatever in a live workspace. All of the testing that you do in the Levity interface, that doesn't count towards your actions usage, so you can test and get it right before you go live, and then your actions will count from there. Cool. So what other questions do we have? What use cases do you have in the freight logistics workspace? Well, that's a great question. Thank you for that one. I'm actually doing another one of these in a couple of weeks' time that will be specifically about freight logistics. It's an area that we've seen a lot of growth, a lot of need, and we have quite a few customers in that space. So I don't want to do too many spoilers now, but do sign up for that webinar. It's going to show you how to build a really cool workflow with order processing and just saving you a whole bunch of time. Cool. Thank you for that question. All right. I think we are running 1 minute over. So I'll take one more question. And then if you do have any more questions, I'm going to go to the next slide. You can email us. Again, my name is Helen, Helen. So feel free to email me directly, helen@levity.ai, or you can do support@levity.ai, or just go on our website, use a little chat widget. That is me as well. And you can go ahead and ask whatever questions you have. We're always open to answer your questions. But let's see. Let's answer this question. What use cases do you have for files? Okay, so Levity is primarily text-based. So that means machine-readable text. Think your emails, think your PDFs that you can scan your mouse over and copy the text. Anything that is machine-readable, feedback surveys, documents that have been typed up on a computer, all of those can go through Levity. We can do OCR. We can build bespoke workflows for those kinds of things. So if you do have a more unique kind of workflow that involves reading documents, scanning stuff, get in touch, because we do have a few of those workflows. They just aren't part of our plug and play functionality that we just demoed. So photos, we did used to do image processing, and we're hoping to bring that back. But for now, it's machine readable text. But again, if you have a workflow, if you have a pain point, we are here to solve things with AI. So do come along and ask us, and we're happy to tell you if it's possible or not. Awesome. All right. So I think that's all we have time for in terms of questions for today. Again, thank you for joining me. I hope this has been useful. I hope that you now have that workflow set up and you can go have a cup of tea and let your emails just prioritize themselves. But join me again in a couple of weeks. I will be doing, I forget what's on the schedule for the next one, but it's another cool workflow, another very crucial one that we have a lot of customers doing. So come along and join me, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you very much, and you have a great Wednesday. Bye-bye.